Hello everyone, welcome to NLG Level 1 English class. Today is day 1 of Level 1. So I'm just checking the number of people here and looks like we do have enough people for today's class. And we'll just go ahead and looks like okay, double check the sound. And I think that everything's working. So welcome to today's class. If you're new here, then welcome to this first class of NLG. And if you're just here to revise today's content, if you've already completed level 1 before, then you're welcome to tune in as well. So just a reminder for everyone that this is level 1 NLG class. That means that if you are a beginner, if you haven't taken any NLG classes before, then this is the class for you. We'll walk you through some of the really basic introduction of NLG for you to understand how this method operates, and of course how to make the most out of this method. Okay, and if you're in level 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you're just here to revise the content, then that's excellent as well. But remember that throughout this class, there will be energy activation of level 1. So of course, if you're in level 2, 3, 4, and 5, then please just temporarily turn the live stream off during energy activation. Whereas if you're new here, if you haven't completed any classes before, and of course, if you have completed level 1 before and you're still in level 1, you have not proceeded to a higher class level, then you can certainly receive the energy activation throughout today's class. Now, today's class is really special because we actually have Mr. Lei joining us for the healing transmission as well as the energy activation. So of course, he will walk us through some of the really important points about NLG. I will co-instruct with him, but then throughout this class, he will be the one to transmit the energy activation for everyone. So that's really, really special. All right, so let me just introduce Mr. Lei now to the screen, and then he can say hello to everyone.
Hello, Isabella. Hello, everyone. Welcome to NLG Level 1 class. Can you hear me, Isabella?
Yes, I can hear you nice and clear.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to NLG Level 1 class. I am Phúc Lê, the founder of NLG, Energy Source Global. It's great to have you all in here today, class. I will share with you very useful information about NLG that can help you to understand this method better. During this class, I will activate you to level 1 energy frequency. Before we start, I would like to transmit the healing energy to everyone. Back to Isabella.
All right, so before we receive the healing from Mr. Lei, I would just like to remind everyone of how we can actually do that. So if you have familiarized yourself with the daily healing energy, then that's great. But if this is your first time here, then what you would do is you will stay really focused. Mr. Lei will have his eyes closed, okay, while he transmits this healing energy. And then you would just open your eyes. What you do is you open your eyes and then you visualize energy going from Mr. Lei's forehead into yours. And then just let that energy absorb into your body, let it flow however it wants to. Okay, and so that for many of you, I would think that this is your first experience with healing energy, but then for many other of you, maybe you familiarize yourself with the daily healing energy. So that should not be too difficult. Okay, so just focus for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I will put my timer on, and then Mr. Lei will go ahead and transmit healing energy to everyone. All right, so back to you, Mr. Lei. You ready?
All right, I'm ready. So everyone ready? We begin now.
All right, and time's up. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Okay.
All right, so now I would like to walk you guys through the structure of today's class. And then after that, we're going to hear from Mr. Lay as he will explains to us the meaning of the three logos. Okay, but first of all, basic introductions of NLG. So what you need to know about NLG as a method is that it is a practice-based method which benefits a lot of aspects of our life, including our health and so much more, as you will see as you continue with the practice of NLG. So currently NLG has 5 class levels from level 1 to level 5. So today we are doing level 1. And if you heard, then of course, next week we'll have level 2. And then at the start of August, we'll have a level 3 online class. So that is a great opportunity if any one of you would like to proceed to the next class level, then there's the opportunity for you to do that. So of course, in order to proceed to the next class level, you need to complete the previous class level. So level 1 consists of 2 sessions. So we'll do today and tomorrow, and you are required to participate in both sessions because there's energy activations involved, as well as information that will provide you, and is really, really important for you to understand these information so that you can make the most out of your practice of energy, of course. And then level 2 consists of 1 session only, and that will be next week. I will post the timetable for that again, and we really appreciate it if you can register as you participate in our classes. And then level 3 consists of 3 sessions. Level 4 consists of 5 sessions, and level 5 consists of 13 sessions. But there will be some minor changes to the upcoming level 5 when we have it in the near future. So make sure that you keep yourself posted on that. Now, children as young as 8 to 12 years old can already participate in NLG, but of course we encourage parental supervision. So today, if you have your kids with you and you'd like, and if they'd like to participate along with you, then they're welcome to do that, but make sure that they have supervisions as they go. And then other than the 5 class levels, of course, we have 3 really special programs. So the first one is to apply NLG to agriculture. Really useful for a lot of people out there, local farmers, as well as people who work in that industry from many different perspectives. They reported to have amazing results. And in high class level, we hope to show you the information regarding that. And of course, for you as participants to, join in those programs for yourself, either family scale, smaller projects, or even larger projects when you get to level 4 and level 5, and then perhaps you would be able to provide us with more information of your own experience with NLG as you apply it to agriculture. And then the second program that we have is, of course, to assist couples to have intelligent and healthy babies, and particularly to tackle with infertility concerns. There has been quite a number of reports about this as well from our participants talking about the effectiveness of NLG in those aspects. And then the third one is, of course, instructor training program. And you are required to participate in level 4 or above for that. Whereas for the first 2, the agriculture and the one to assist babies and couples, you're only required to get to level 3. Okay, but of course, the high class level you are, then the more effective that would be, particularly if you have all the box ticks, for the practice of NLG and how to practice it best. So NLG, of course, is not an alternative treatment, everyone, and it should not replace your current medical treatment. Go with what you have to do in terms of your treatment plans, and you can practice NLG as a separate thing alongside if you want to. And while you practice NLG, if there's any, of course, differences, improvements, then you can certainly inform your doctors about that if you wish to, so that they can adjust your treatment plans if they evaluate and can determine if there's any alterations that needs to be made. And of course, NLG is not political, it is not religious. And of course, we'll talk about topics, many different topics, but keep in mind that we're not coming from a political or religious point of view. Now, short introductions about Mr. Lei. He introduced himself briefly, but he was born in Binh Hoa province, which is now Dom Nai province of Vietnam, and at the age of 22, he joined his family to the US. And then throughout his journey there, he encountered a great opportunity to learn from a really special master who taught him about NLG. And then he applied it to himself. He see the effectiveness of it, and then he started to share it with more and more people. So really coming into NLG is more about people experiencing this transformation, and then they introduce it to each other. Okay, so it is really to do with personal experiences and things that people are able to do. And then in 2021, he returned to the US, but he continued to put in many different online and offline classes for everyone, even until now. For example, this class that we're doing now, he would just like for people to address him as Mr. Lei, even though, yes, we're doing a method that relates to energy and all of that, but he does not wish for people to address him as master or teacher. So just keep that in mind. We just keep everything really friendly here. So now I would like to show you a few class recommendation. All right. Before we start our class, and I will only show these ones, but it's really important for everyone to understand. So class recommendation, first of all, please arrange to attend the course on time to receive the activation fully. Being on time also show respect for the instructor and everyone in class. Also, it helps to avoid network congestion when too many people decide to join at the same time. And second, choose your study space. Please set up your study space in a quiet place away from distraction, particularly during the activation and practice session. 3, copyright NLG content without our permission is prohibited. Please do not record or distribute our video lecture online without our consent. All online courses will be recorded for tracking purposes on our NLG platform. You can certainly watch previous class videos on our YouTube channel. Okay, so there's no need to record anything. 4, you can attend our course via phone, laptop, iPad, etc. Ensure you check your device before attending our online classes. 5, we'll have time for participants to ask questions about the course. Now, this really depends. If we do run out of time, then we have our Telegram groups for you to join, and then you can certainly ask questions in there as well. But in the meantime, if you need to, you can just put your question in the chat box. Now, please note that NLG is a method provided by the NLG Energy Source University to support anyone seeking assistance from NLG. NLG online courses are completely free. So for example, level 1 and 2, we know that we don't have to pay any fees for it. But then of course, as we get to 3, 4, and 5, there's a certain amount of fee that you're encouraged to contribute so that we can keep our organizations going. We are a non-profit organization. So it will be of great help from the community to keep us going and for us to continue to put our classes and different projects for everyone. NLG techniques and informations for educational purposes only and cannot be substituted for the advice or care of a medical professional. It does not replace doctor's diagnosis and medical treatment. We recommend that participants consult a doctor before undertaking alternative health improving methods, and we will not accept any liability or warranty and not be responsible to any individual if you do not see any improvements. NLG participants are responsible for their current state of health and will need to monitor their progress. NLG participant needs to have self-awareness and follow the instructions and formulas to achieve desired outcomes. Now, NLG, as I mentioned earlier, is not a religion, neither it is a meeting ground for ritual activities. NLG does not advise participants to give up or join any religion or political party, and NLG University does not participate in any religion or political institution of any country. Okay, so now we've got that done. Okay, and everything is very clear. So now I'd like to invite Mr. Lei to explain to everyone the very first topic for today, which is the 3 logos of NLG. So I'll share with you the screenshot now so that you can see. So Mr. Lei, you can just go ahead. Thank you.
All right, we are back to me, and I would like to share with you some information about 3 logo. The NLG Method has 3 logo. It's very important for us to recognize, to understanding Cosmic Divine Light, NLG University, and a loving home. 3 logo is very important for us, for everyone, if you understand, if you recognize that. The cosmic divine light energy from space civilization will bring us unimaginable benefit and understanding. It offers solution to the problem we have in light, because it contains the wisdom energy. The wisdom energy is very important for everyone. That's very, very important. I want to emphasize that to you and make you to focus on that, the energy. So that is cosmic divine light, the energy that comes from space civilization. You can imagine the space civilization at a place far, far away from us that had more advanced from our wisdom. Science, technology, and material benefits. Try to keep simple. This energy had excited to everyone, to every long time, and had been a part of our life, our assistant. The key of knowing which frequency you connected to, the strength of your connection, and how maximize its effect. There are many energy levels. Just like different degree in school, when we know how to connect with this energy, we can use to improve our many things in our life and turn something visible to something visible. The cosmic divine light energy and all the projects at the NLG University are so important because they can help to address the 3 humanity problem: illnesses, poverty, and war. These are the 3 current problems that we are facing, and we have to admit our shortcoming. When it comes to handling the problem, this energy enhance to our access to brain power, and energy affect the brain should be our main focus. By embracing the cosmic divine light and our connection to the energy, we can effectively combine our knowledge with insight from the NLG method. This combination guided by our moral, value, and 5 forms of love. It helps us to create solutions to problems we once thought were impossible. You may be surprised to learn that those who provide us with incredible resources are neither master, spiritual teacher, and in this planet, nor highly educated individual. The knowledge from the cosmic divine light is so advanced that it can be used to support all living beings. The base civilization, which will mention everyone, often taught the classes, had all the knowledge that we need, and we can use this knowledge as the instruction to guide us in life. Additionally, the NLG method is always open to everyone, regardless of level, status, ethnicity, or skin color. Learning NLG would help you to develop an awareness of morality and compassion. In the NLG program, Each level contains a specific energy frequency and knowledge appropriate for that state. You like progressing from elementary school to high school and then to university. We must study and practice correctly at each level. Back to Isabella. She will continue to support you to get more information. Now, Isabella?
Thank you, Mr. Lei. So we just heard from Mr. Lei as he explained to us about the first two logos. Okay, and so these first two logos, of course, really, really important to understand. And as you get to a high class level, of course, Mr. Lei will explain more in details how he actually decode the cosmic divine light logo and where this energy comes from, you know, the things that we're using right now, this energy source, where does it come from? And it requires you to, of course, enhance your understanding first in order for Mr. Lei, when he explain and give you more information, let's say in level 3, level 4, level 5, to truly understand what is it that we're doing here? How can we maximize the effectiveness, the potential really, of this energy source that is contained within the cosmic divine light? How did he actually get access to it? And, you know, now that it's been decoded, then how can we use it? And of course, later on, I'll walk you through the elements that are required for you to have so that you can connect properly to this energy source. All right, so Mr. Lei, would you like to explain a little bit more about the third logo, the Loving Home logo? I'll put it on the screen for you.
All right. In the Loving Home logo, you can see symbol of a family with parents and children. From an energy perspective, it represents something very special, which I will share the detail in higher class level. From looking at the picture, you can see that the family in the photo have a very special connection with one another, representing true love. Love very important in this method. In the way a family operates, there should be a strong bond between all the members. However, today we struggle with this, and it all comes down to three key problems that humanity must address. On this logo, you will see 13 heartbeats representing 12 months in a year, and the 13 heartbeat, it indicates humanity energy connecting to the space civilization and using energy that we acquire. From the many lessons and wisdom of the cosmic divine light, we can truly experience that it's like to have a loving home, treating each other with love, fairness, and a willingness to help one another is crucial. Let's work together to ensure everyone live in a stable environment, growing and processing together. Now back to Isabella.
Thank you, Mr. Lei. Thank you for the explanation. I'd just like to mention very quickly that usually you do see Mr. Lei in our Vietnamese classes, but today he decided that you know, he'd like to join you know, our English class, and of course would like to get to know as many of our English speaking participants as possible, and to really, for you to have the opportunity to hear from him as the founder of NLG. Whereas, you know, for me, yes, I was trained to be an instructor, but I also started as a participant like many of you. So this is a great opportunity that I really like for everyone to be grateful about, and to just be really thankful for Mr. Lei for taking this opportunity for us to hear from him directly. All right, so I'll take it from here, and I'll explain to you a bit more about this content, okay? And let's move on to the 3 challenges, as Mr. Lin mentioned earlier. So the things that we, of course, would like to have in our life, which is fulfillment, contentment, happiness, a happy family, great relationship. But then the majority of us, if not all of us, certainly struggle with these 3 challenges. And it's not just my problem or your problem, it's the problem for humanity as a whole. So you can see here at NLG, we try to address the 3 challenges, which are wars and conflicts, poverty and hunger, illnesses and diseases. Okay, and these 3 really, really important because we still see them so prominent in today's life. Now, if you look at it from, I guess, a larger scale, and you might think, well, maybe I am affected by these problems indirectly, but not necessarily on a daily basis, as in I don't necessarily go through these problems myself, okay? But I encourage you to really look at this from a more personal perspective, because we've seen these problems on the news, on, around the globe on a daily basis. But for us, when we talk about illnesses and diseases, of course, that's something that many of us have to deal with, or perhaps we have people in our family that they have to deal with these issues, and you're trying to find a way to cope, and your family or the people that you know are certainly trying to find a way to cope with it. And so the burden, the challenge, the difficulty, the adversities, it's so relevant to all of our lives. And of course, we all have illnesses to a certain degree and severity, and a lot of the time it can be really, really difficult on people. And of course, when we talk about wars and conflicts, let's set aside, I guess, the news that we hear every day around the world. But if we talk just simply about conflicts, then from a more personal perspective, it is the conflicts within your family, right? About the things that you say to other people, the conflict that you have within yourself when your thoughts, don't really align with each other, the things that you want to do, things that you feel like you're forced to do by other people, by society, etc. There's stigma, there's pressure. And of course, when it comes to family, which is a huge topic that we talk about here at NLG Energy, is that a lot of the time you try or you pretend to have that happiness in your family, but that is solely on the surface. So deep down, there's no real connection there. And you can certainly be in a conflicting situation with your coworker as well, or with your boss, with your friends even. So how are you going to change your behavior mostly? Okay, so it's not about asking other people to have to change themselves or the situation to have to change itself, but how can we as individuals coming into a situation like that, being able to neutralize that challenging energy and replace it with something that's more positive? So that's something that we're interested to learn. And then if we talk about poverty and hunger, then from a more personal perspective, then of course, lots and lots of families out there, lots of people out there still find it really difficult to earn money to meet the basic needs, to feed their family, and lots of people still living on the streets, as you see every day. So those are some of the challenges that's worth discussing. And so how do we go about resolving these problems? Now at NLG, according to our practice, according to what we have seen, what we have experienced. So these are not just theories. These are the things that we have experienced. And so that's why we share it with you. Is that first of all, you need to have genuine moral values. So this is something that we encourage you to prioritize. You need to maintain this because oftentimes it's very easy for us to just trade that when we see the short-term benefits. So all of us, of course, we're very familiar with moral values, but realistically, we need to speculate. We need to ask ourselves, why is it that we still do things to hurt each other? If we know about morality and we reason that the things that we do is according to moral values, then why are we hurting each other? Why are we fighting? Because clearly that doesn't reflect these values. Now, people may view this in very different ways. And as I've said, they can reason as much as to their heart content. But the point is that a lot of the time we think that we try to prioritize moral values, but we don't. So how do we do that effectively? How do we measure? How do we know if the things that we believe to be moral values, that we really trying to keep it at heart and that we're really doing it, or are we just thinking that we're doing it? Now, at NLG, we do have a way to test ourselves as to whether we're on track with our moral values and love, okay? And then the second things, of course, that we need so that we can resolve these 3 challenges are love. Okay, 5 forms of love, and I will change to the next slides so that I can discuss more with you about the 5 forms of love. The reason why we divide it into the 5 forms of love is so that we will have these different, I guess, stages, different types of love to actually look at when we try to dissect it, and for people to understand more about love, because oftentimes when we talk about this element, it can be a little bit abstract to people, and then people actually think that it's really cliche, okay? But these are actually the really important elements that we need to have in life, and particularly if you decide that you want to come in NLG, you want it to be effective, you want to make the most out of this method, then morality and 5 forms of love are the way to go. There's no way around it. There's no shortcut. So just a heads up for everyone that there's no shortcut in this method. Either you do it and you get to experience the outcomes that you expect, or you don't do it and you don't get to experience it. Okay, and this is where it's so essential to keep in mind that NLG, the practice of NLG, whether it's effective or not, that's what determines whether your practice of love and morality is actually accurate. So remember when I said before that at NLG we have a way to test ourselves whether we're actually on track with love and morality. Well, the way that you can tell is by how effective your NLG practice is. And that's something that you cannot pretend, okay? You cannot say that, oh, I'm doing a great job, because everyone can see whether you are doing a great job or not. So that's something that you can fake when it comes to energy, and that's why it's so precise, okay? It's really precise, really sophisticated, and there's really no machine that can fake this frequency. There's no machine that can fake this energy. And so that's why it is effective, and it requires you to be very genuine when you come into this method. Now, the 5 forms of love, now that we're at level 1, we will try to focus on the first 2 forms of love that you can see here, self-love and love for family. And then by the time you get to level 2, we'll work on the 3rd one, which is love for country. And then by the time you get to level 3, we should work on the last 2, which is love for humanity and, for humanity. And the 5th one is love for all living things. And then as you go on with level 4 and 5, then of course you are required to expand that love So it's not just about having these forms of love, but it's about extending them, upgrading how you actually practice these forms of love. And of course, we're not just here to talk about love, we're here to practice. And people are like, well, how do I actually practice love? Well, in the way that you treat other people, in the way when you reflect back on the things that you've done, are there any better way that you can do things? Right? And how can you reconcile with someone if you're in conflict with them? Or if you're in a situation where someone, started a stressor, started something first, how are you going to respond to that? But then now that we're in level 1, we just keep it really, really simple and start with self-love and love of family. Now, some people are puzzled when we mention self-love as the first thing that we need to work on according to the sequence. And they would be like, well, shouldn't that be the last one? Because why would we put self-love as the first thing? Why are we talking about it in the first place? Isn't that selfish? But that's not selfish. It's necessary to have self-love, okay? Because let me just ask you this really realistic question. How would you like to support other people when you're not in a state that is fit to do so? So you say that you want to help other people. I want to put other people before me. That's fine. But if you don't have the financial support to do it, you're not in good health to do it, you don't have the resources to do it, basically you struggle, then how are you going to help other people? So that's what we mean by self-love. Self-love doesn't mean that you keep everything for yourself. That's not what it means here at NLG. But more so, we try to make a connection between you and your understanding that you need to connect to this energy source. Because you say, well, I want to have good health. I want to be healthy. I want to have lots of money so that I can take that money and, donate or do good things for other people, to take care of other people. I want to build a really great product for the community, one that is clean, that is reliable. And I want to do all of these amazing things. I have it all in my head. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? Because looking at the world right now, the number of us being very successful compared to the majority of us still struggle. So how are you going to ensure that you can do the things that you set out to do? Now, that relates closely to self-love. Self-love here means that you understand how to connect to this energy source. So how do you connect? That is by being in the right frequency, which I will explain to you later on. The frequency that we all need, okay? Our body and our mind need that frequency. I'll explain it to you later on. But the point is, when you practice self-love correctly, you think about, okay, so what is it that I need to do to benefit myself using this energy? So I should not be angry. I should not be bitter at people. I should not resent people, because that would distance myself from this energy that I know to be effective. So that is a part of self-love, okay, that we try to emphasize. It's not about keeping everything for yourself. It's about keeping your own energy frequency, because that's the thing that you can control. Okay, and when you're able to control that, then everything else would come. Now, when we talk about love for family, that's very straightforward. It's the things that all of us want, right? But not necessarily the things that all of us have, unfortunately. When we talk about the connection between family, which in level 3 and level 4, Mr. Lee will talk about the energy frequency that's very specific for that. But it's also relate greatly to self-love in the sense that because we all belong to a family, we're a daughter, we're a son, we're a parent, or a spouse, right? So we all have that connection with one another. Then how do we control ourselves in the sense that we keep our composure, we're being calm, we're being loving, so that we can actually inspire the changes with the people around us? Okay, and that would then inspire love for family. And there's a lot more to it, but of course, that is the content, the information that we'll get to discuss and talk more about in higher class levels. And of course, love of family also emphasize that here at NLG, we have the energy, we have the techniques, we have the formulas that will present you so that you can take good care of your family in many different ways. It's not just one way that you have to do it, but there's many different ways in which you can do it. And as you go on with NLG, you understand that really special connection between you and the members in your family. So the space civilization, Mr. Lim mentioned that earlier, they'll be the one who guide us on our journey of self-enhancement. Now, we're not talking about this from a religious point of view, so don't think about it from a religious point of view. What we're talking about is energy, and specifically wisdom energy, because that's what we like to have. And without it, that's why we struggle. We cannot think of an idea, of a solution for the things that we're working on. That's why we're stuck. Okay, but the space civilization and their energy, they're really precise and they're really fair. So that's why Mr. Lay's favorite saying is that you cannot cheat. You cannot cheat when it comes to energy. You cannot pretend. And that's also why I said that the best way to measure your practice of love and morality is actually by the effectiveness of your own energy practice. And that's also explained why there's a variety of outcomes and experiences when people go into NLG. Because some people, they come in, and even at level 1 and 2, they experience great transformation. And then other people going to level 3 and level 4, and there are improvements, but they're very gradual, very minimal. And then they would ask us, well, what's going on? Because I thought that as I get to a high class level that I will improve. Well, the first thing that you need to work on really, which we discuss this with people a lot of the time, is their own practice of love and morality. Now, the thing is, a lot of the time, people don't open up completely about what it is that they're struggling with and the things that they have to deal with. And that's okay, because you don't have to open up everything to us, because that's really your own private thing. That's your personal thing. But when you're in that space by yourself, we encourage you to be honest with yourself, right? To admit that, yes, there are shortcomings. Yes, I make the mistake. And perhaps I'm still thinking negatively about this person or this situation. And that's something that I need to change. Because we don't want this to sound too serious, but really it's the things that you can only do for yourself. No one can really work on that for you. As instructor, we can activate you for the energy frequency, but then after that, when it comes to your own practice of love and morality, in the way that you treat yourself, in the way that you treat other people around you, that's completely up to you. And that's what marks the levels of love and morality that you have. Okay, so for example, if it's a rainy day, you can't control for that, but you can choose to just either sit there, be upset about your plan being canceled because it's rainy, or you can adapt to that and look at how you can modify your plan and still enjoy the things that you do despite it's raining outside. So that's the things that we can do for ourselves. Okay, it's not something that we ask other people that they have to do it for us. And it's not about asking other people to have to change themselves, but it's about understanding that I have this energy connection And this connection is mine to work on. It is very personal to me. And when you think about it like that, then you're starting to think more deeply and more meaningfully about self-love. Okay. Now, I like to talk about that favorite frequency that I mentioned earlier, the frequency that we all need and that that's really essential when you come into NLG. Okay, now this frequency derived from your understanding and practice of love and morality once again. So if you understand it, then you would maintain yourself in this frequency that we call the +1 - 1 frequency, everyone. So think about this, because a lot of the time we believe that we're just by ourselves, right? But within our bodies, there's that energy part of us. And more importantly, there's the cells that are the one who actually making the transformation. So it's not just about this energy coming in and then magically the transformation happen, but instead this energy comes in when you connect properly. This energy comes in, it has a positive impact on the cells in your body, and then the cells in your body, then they would then work towards the transformation that you request them to work on. Okay, so think about this +1 - 1 frequency as the favorite frequency for the cells in your body. They need it. They know that there's this energy, but it's sort of like you've starved them for a very long time because you don't really know about this energy. You don't really know how it worked. But now that you do know how it worked, then you try to keep yourself in this frequency of +1 - 1. Okay, and then you get yourself connected, you feel that energy coming in straight away, and the cells in your body, they'll be embraced by this energy as well. It's sort of like getting recharged, right? Full of power, full of energy, so that they're ready to go. Because if you're not in this frequency, you can sit there, you can try to practice, but you won't get 100% of the energy that you need. You won't get 100% of that energy connection because you're too far away from the +1 - 1 frequency. Now, it is not to say that you can't be upset or sad or happy or excited, because of course, emotions are part of us. And that's what we experience on a daily basis. What we're saying is that when you do experience this intense emotion, that you understand that you need to balance it straight away. So you go back down to that +1 - 1 frequency more regularly, more quickly, more efficiently, because you understand the importance of maintaining yourself in that +1 - 1 frequency to connect you or continue to connect you to this energy source. Okay, so it's about maintaining calm in all situations, really, positive and negative. It doesn't really matter which situation you're in, but you are encouraged to maintain yourself in the +1 - 1 frequency. Of course, the things that are happening around our world, it's happening nonstop, and there are lots of things that we cannot control. So if you understand that this energy is effective for you, and if this is something that you're interested in, you would like to have it, then the +1 - 1 frequency, as well as the practice of love and morality, is absolutely essential. So now that you understand about this, this frequency that you need to have, try to be more mindful of it. So question yourself. So within a day, other than when you're asleep, of course, then how many hours, how many times do you actually feel like you practice self-love and love of family in a more effective way, better than before? Okay, and how many times, how many hours were you able to maintain yourself in the +1 - 1 frequency? Now, it is not a competition. It's really is you trying to track your own progress here. So it's not to say to another NLG participant that, oh, you know, I'm very good and I was able to keep myself in a pretty calm frequency throughout the day. Remember that it's not a competition. There's nothing to compete here. But as a matter of fact, it's about monitoring your own progress, okay? Because you know whether you're doing it or you're not doing it. And you don't have to report it to anyone because that's really is your own thing to do, okay? And just a reminder to be honest and also very humble. Because sometimes when you're not necessarily around people or when you don't really encounter a difficult situation and it's all nice for you to say, I'm fine, I'm a very calm person, I'm very loving. But then when something does happen to you, how you respond to that situation is what counts. Okay, there'll be things that you don't like that will happen. There will be people that you don't like before that will perhaps do something and it really, really annoys you. But how are you going to respond to that? Now, it's not to dwell into the things that you've done in the past and, you know, feeling guilty that, oh my goodness, I did that in the past, I did this in the past, and it was horrible. But it's about understanding that there's space to change and improve. And that's what really matters. Okay. As soon as you change, the sooner you change, really, the sooner that you will get to experience the transformation that we talked about here at NLG. Now, the importance of practicing accurately and consistently. Here we have my favorite example, which is the chicken and the egg. Okay, so usually we use this to explain to people the necessity to practice consistently. So we know that it takes about 21 days for the mother hen, right, to just sit, and after the 21 days, then you have beautiful little baby chicks, right? Now, same thing for when you practice NLG, in the sense that it's not that you practice for 21 days, but there are similarities. So if the mother hen doesn't give her full 21 days, let's say if she gets lazy or something like that, then the eggs cannot hatch properly. So the point is the consistency of your practice. As I've said, this is a practice-based method. So it's required you to practice it on a daily basis, every day. You practice it every day. It's like the water that you drink every day. It's like the food that you eat every day. It should be like that. Okay, so try to work on a specific schedule for your own practice. And you should practice accurately, adequately, and consistently is something that Mr. Lay always say. So for example, in the formula, if it tells you to practice for 5 minutes and 30 seconds, then please do that. Don't practice any longer than that or any less than that, because Mr. Lay's runs standardized elements, right? There's standardized elements when it comes to these practice, and many people have practiced it and they have experienced the effectiveness of these formulas. So please do that. Okay. And the formulas that we share with you, right? We've looked at it very carefully. So in terms of the time, in terms of the wording, in terms of all of the elements on the formulas, if you don't really understand something, then you can just ask us. All right. Now, all right, so now we get to, I guess this is everyone's favorite part here, which is the brain cell activation. Remember that I said that the structure of the class, right, is that we will give you the basic introductions about NLG. We'll explain to you how you can make the most out of this method, and then we'll activate you, okay, so that you can actually get connected to this energy, and then we'll show you the formulas that you can practice. So what you would do for brain cell activation, and Mr. Lee will activate everyone today, is that, of course, he will have his eyes closed throughout the entire time that he activate everyone. So you will have your eyes open, everyone. You will keep your eyes open. You will look at his forehead, and then you visualize energy going from his forehead into your brain continuously. Okay, now I would like to show everyone this video, which is a great demonstration. So that is very clear for all of you in terms of what to do. Okay. All right, so I think that you can see that on the screen, right? So imagine that this is you on the screen here. So you're looking at Mr. Lei, and then you visualize energy going from his forehead into your brain, like so. Okay, so just keep it going into your brain like that until we say time's up. Okay, and I will set my timer to 1 minute and 30 seconds. And there's something that I do need to inform you. I'll just show this one more time and then I'll give you more explanation. Okay, so you see how it goes into your brain like that, okay? And you will keep doing that until we say time's up. Now, the thing is with energy, even if you can't see Mr. Lei, but you know that he's transmitting the activation, then you can still receive it. And I'm saying this because now we don't want this to happen, but if you experience some sort of technical issue, if you have issue with your internet or something like that, you get disconnected halfway through, what you would do is that just estimate the time. I said 1 minute and 30 seconds to estimate the remaining time that you will have, and you continue to receive that activation. And then afterwards, you can try to log back in, okay? There's no problem, and I hope that it doesn't happen. But if it happened to anyone, then just continue doing that because it still works and it still counts as a full energy activation from Mr. Lei. All right, so Mr. Lei, are we ready to activate everyone? This is the brain cell activation. You're on mute. Could you please unmute yourself? You just unmute yourself. The microphone icon. Okay, we're just waiting for Mr. Lei to unmute his mic. And in the meantime, you guys can get ready. Okay, and remember the ways in which that you receive this activation. As I've said, you look at Mr. Lei and you visualize receiving energy from his forehead into your brain. All right. And you just continue to do that. I will set my timers on, but if you want to set your own timer, then you can go ahead and do that now. It will be 1 minute and 30 seconds in case if you experience any technical issue. Okay. All right. So Mr. Lei, just unmute your mic and then we'll go. Okay, I can hear you now.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, nice and clear. Perfect.
Isabella?
Yes.
Yep,
You hear?
perfect.
All right. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you so much for saying good information to our practitioner. And everyone ready? Remember, this activation is only for people in level 1 or other level. Please do not receive, okay? It's only for level 1. All right, so Isabella, can you control the time for me?
Yes, I'm
All right.
ready.
So everyone ready?
All right.
Okay, so we begin now. When finished, you let me know, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, we start now.
All right, and time's up.
All right. So, to all the people, the energy is focused on 5 forms of love. It's very important for you. We're looking for good health. We're looking for healthy. We're looking for a better life. We need the energy wisdom. So we will support you to connecting with the energy wisdom in every class, level 1, level 2, 3, 4, and 5. And just like we're using the Wi-Fi, we use 2Z, 3Z, 4Z, and 5Z. The difference is the frequency. The more benefit for you to connect with the higher frequency. All right, thank you for everyone for joining with us today. The
Yes.
information that we present is a very basic introduction of energy, but I hope that it has been interesting for everyone, and hopefully it will inspire you to continue learning energy. I will see you tomorrow for level 2. I'm sorry, level 1, day 2. All right, level 1, day 2. Before you leave, Isabella will give you some more notes. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Lee. Now, before we leave, I do have a few more notes for everyone, so don't leave just yet, okay? Because I'll walk you through the formula for today, okay? Remember that Mr. Lee already activate you for today's energy frequency. And so the first formula that we'll have for today, which I very much like to practice it with you today as well, okay? And I will share it on the screen now so that everyone can see better. All right, so I hope that you can see that on the screen there. So this is the brain cell activation formula, okay? Now, this formula is the first one that we'll be practicing for today's session. And we really like for you to give it a really good go, because after tomorrow's class, we will have other formulas and then we will no longer practice this one. Now, some people ask me, well, can I still practice this one? But why practice it when you have, the better formulas to practice it? So that's why when we instruct you that for today, please practice this very specific formula, please do that, okay? It gives you really good, I guess, initial experience of what it's like to practice an energy formula. And you need to familiarize yourself with our formula so that you know exactly how to practice it as you go on to level 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so level 1, beginner level, foundation level, but it's really, really important. So we'll practice it today. You can practice it anywhere from 1 to 3 times on your own. Okay, we'll practice it once in class. And then when you're by yourself, you can practice it from 1 to 3 times. You can practice it continuously, okay, consecutively, one after the other, or you can spread it out a few hours apart. That depends on you. Now, while you practice, try to sit somewhere that you feel calm and focused. If you need to, you can actually look at like an object or something so that you're not distracted. And if you are distracted for more than 30 seconds, and by that we mean when you start to think about something else, then please start again, okay? If that happens for more than 30 seconds, please start again. Don't sit in front of a fan or an AC, because with that wind blowing right at you, you might not feel that warmth of energy, okay? What you're supposed to feel is that warmth of energy in your body, and particularly your around your head, okay? You might feel some sort of tingling at your forehead, okay? For many people, they feel that, or even warmth throughout the body. People have different experiences. Now, of course, throughout that 5 minutes and 30 seconds, you can blink. Okay, don't just stare at something for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I suppose that could be very dizzy and that will make you feel very uncomfortable. So yes, you can blink. If you cough or if you sneeze, that's okay. That doesn't count as being distracted. But if you're thinking about something else, let's say you sit there and then you start thinking about dinner, or you start to think about shopping or something like that, then if it happens for more than 30 seconds, we suggest that you discard that session and then you start again. Okay. Now, if you are unwell and you can't sit, then you can certainly lie down. Okay, that's totally okay. It doesn't affect anything. So basically, any position that you feel comfortable in, you can certainly do so. Now, before I show you the formula, actually walk through the formula, I like to just say that with the brain cell activation earlier, if any one of you feel like your forehead, it's really tense, or your head is really heavy, or you have like a mild headache, there's a techniques that we often do to get rid of the excess energy. So you breathe in through your nose for 3 seconds. And then you breathe out through your mouth for 6 seconds. And you do that 3 times. Okay. And then afterwards, it will get rid of that of that excess energy. And of course, when you practice, you keep your eyes open, you make sure to follow the formulas because you don't remember that now. So it's okay to read out the formula. Okay. All right, so let's go through this formula here. When we present you with a formula like this, it's really important, first of all, to look at the note. So the note here, it said, when practicing, keep your eyes open and direct energy accordingly. Please do that. Okay, I understand that maybe for other formula, or not formula, sorry, other method, you might close your eyes. But here, NLG, we, particularly at this level, we really try to encourage everyone to open your eyes. And that's another essential practice. It's the same as when you see the things around you, but you're not getting distracted. Okay, so even when you practice, okay, so it can be a little bit difficult for people at first. For some people at first, some people just do it straight away, but for some people, they find it a little bit distracting, looking at things, hearing things, but that's exactly the practice that we want you to work on. Okay. Now, practice duration here, it said 8 to 12 years old. You will practice for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So if you have your kids joining you, you can practice together, but make sure that you set a separate timer for them. 13 to 18 years old, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Above 18 years old, that'll be 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And I assume that most of you here are above 18 years old, so later on, we will practice this together for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, you can see here, we divide this into 4 steps. Step 1, and all of these steps here, everyone, you will recite them silently in your head. You don't read them out, okay? You don't mumble, you don't read them out, you don't whisper. You read it in your head. You recite them in your head. So think about this step 1 as sort of like a request, okay? It's set out for you a very clear direction for you and the cells in your body so that you understand exactly what it is that you're doing. So step 1, recite in your head, receive cosmic divine light, new era energy level 1 frequency band, brain cell activation frequency. Okay, so that's the request, that's the command. And then step 2, receive energy into the brain. Now pay attention to this verb. Is it receive? So that's exactly what you do. So throughout this process, you don't just recite them in your head, but you actually recite as you do as it is instructed. So in step 2, you receive energy into the brain. That means you visualize energy from outer space entering the brain, Don't need to bother yourself with what this energy looks like or what color or whatever. Just visualize energy, that there's energy from outer space entering your brain. Okay, and in your head, you recite receive first time, and then you wait for 3 to 5 seconds. There should be a delay in between there. Receive second time, and then receive third time. Okay, so now that you're done receiving energy into your brain. Now, this is only a picture, by the way, everyone, for you to visualize. So when it comes to your own practice session, you would visualize your own body, your own brain, okay? So don't go and transmit energy into this picture. This is only for demonstration purposes. Now, after that, step 3, send energy from the brain into the ERC. Now, the ERC is the energy reception center. That's what we call it. Okay, very straightforward. And it goes by the initial ERC. Send energy from the brain into the ERC. Send first time. Send second time. Send third time. And then step 4, continuously direct energy into the brain, that is from outer space, entering the brain, and transmit it into the ERC. So it should go like that. Okay? From outside, entering the brain, and then the ERC, outside, brain, ERC, outside, brain, ERC. And it should go like that all the way until your alarm rings. So here it said, let the warmth of energy spreads on its own until alarm rings. So what you do is, of course, you set your timer according to your age. And the minute that you start your timer, then you begin from step 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Now, by the time that you get to step 4, stay in step 4. Do not go back to step 1, 2, and 3. You stay in step 4. And because here it said continuously direct, as I've said, pay attention to the verb, it said to direct energy. So that's exactly what you would do. And you would do it continuously. Okay, now I do have participants who actually get to step 4. And then by the time that they recite everything in their head, then they just sit there. And then they don't do anything. And then they come to me and said, well, when I practice the formulas, I have a headache. And then afterwards, when I realized what she was doing, then, I explained it to her again. And then she realized that by the time that she gets to step 4, that she need to continuously direct energy, which was not the things that she was doing before. She just, after reciting it, she thought that that's over, and she just sit there for the remaining time. But that is not true. So remember that when you get to step 4, that is an ongoing process, okay? And you would direct energy until the alarm rings. All right, so I feel like I explained that to you in very, with a lot of details, which is really, really important, particularly at this level. You need to understand these formulas, these very basic formulas, so that by the time you get to level 3, 4, and 5, that you're already very confident with understanding how NLG formulas work. So now I would like to practice this formula with everyone, okay? So that you understand the pace, how to actually recite it in your head. So basically everything that I will read out to you now, and I will leave these formula on the screen. I'll turn my video off so it doesn't block any part of the formula. So everything that I read out to you is the things that you will recite in your head. So now we'll just go ahead, okay, and we'll do this together. All right, are we ready? I'll set my timer to 5 minutes and 30 seconds because I assume that everyone here is 18 years old, above 18 years old. And if you have your kids joining you, please set a separate timer for them, okay? So, all right, so we'll just go ahead now And let's practice this formula together. I will read it out to you in the way that you should recite it in your head. Okay, so let's get started. Step 1. Receive cosmic divine light, new era NLG level 1 frequency band, brain cell activation frequency. Step 2. Receive energy into the brain. Receive first time. Receive second time. Receive third time. Step 3. Send energy from the brain into the ERC. Send first time. Send second time. Send third time. Step 4. Continuously direct energy into the brain and transmit it into the ERC. Let the warmth of energy spread on its own until alarm rings. All right, and time's up, everyone. So thank you very much for participate in the practice. Okay, and now I'd like to show everyone the QR code before we leave. Now this QR code, you can use it to access our Telegram groups. And so the first one here you will see on the left-hand side, that's the general channel. And then in the middle, you have the level 1 and 2 channels. So level 1 and 2, we group them together. And then the third one is the chat group. So this is actually where you can ask your question. And remember that, of course, we encourage everyone to ask your question because not only that it will benefit you, but also your classmates as well. And so go ahead and scan this QR code. And if you miss out on this, then you can always come back to this part of the video. So after this live stream, this video will be posted on our YouTube and Facebook at NLG University. So you can find this video, find this live stream again, and you can rewatch it to revise any of the content that you want. Okay, and then at the same time, we'll post the formulas on our Telegram groups. And we'll post a few notes to remind you of the content that we've done today. And then, of course, practice the formulas as instructed, because we only practice this brain cell activation formula today, because tomorrow we'll move on to other formulas. So I really highly encourage everyone to practice this formula today, okay, on your own. And if you, once again, if you feel like you have that mild headache, it won't last for very long, everyone, but it just means that this energy coming in having an impact on your brain, on your cells. So what you would do is that breathing techniques that I show you, breathe in through the nose 3 seconds, breathe out through the mouth 6 seconds, and then you do that 3 times, okay? And all right, and make sure that you don't practice too close to bedtime, okay? Because with that excess energy, with that excess energy, it may you may experience difficulty sleeping, but you won't be tired. But it's just that don't try to practice it close to bedtime. Okay, trying to space it out. All right, so thank you everyone for joining us in today's class. And of course, a huge thank you to Mr. Lee joining us in today's class. As usually, we all know that he teaches mainly in Vietnamese, so it's an honor for us today to have him in this class and for him to activate everyone. That's the special part. Okay, and we'll see you tomorrow in day 2 of level 1. Remember that we have tomorrow as well to participate, because level 1 consists of 2 sessions. So we won't be doing the same thing. We'll have another energy activation that's really, really important for everyone to receive. So I hope to see you all there. And if you have not registered, then please go ahead and register. We posted the link in our Telegram groups as well as Facebook. So go ahead and register so that we know who's attending. And that will be of great help for us to try to tailor these sessions in the future for you as well. All right, any question, feel free to pop that into the Telegram groups as I show you the QR code early on. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And have a great day.